the president has been so public about his desire for the prosecution of these people who he says are his political enemies. How is that just following the law inside the Justice Department? Isn't this the political weaponization that you talk about?
No, you got to go to the facts of the case. The president has the prerogative to say what he wants, and he will do that. No one's ever doubted that the president will say what's on his mind and frankly do what he told the American voters he was going to do. So that's one thing. But this is about applying the facts to the law, and that's exactly what's taking place in this Justice Department. You cannot argue with the fact Jim Comey said one thing to under oath in front of the United States Congress. That's what he's being charged for: false statements to the Congress, 18 U.S.C. 1001. You cannot argue that he did that, particularly when you know the facts from the Inspector General with this individual Daniel Richmond,
who
Comey
believe that the Justice Department
hired to launder information to folks like you in the press.
Do you believe that the Justice Department is acting independently from the president?
I think the Justice Department is applying the facts to the case.
But are they doing it under pressure from the president? Are they trying to find ways to indict people who the president said publicly in that post he wants to be prosecuted?
I think that, Dan, I think they're doing their job. I think they are doing their job. I mean, I know the kind of information they're giving to Congress, information we did not get under the previous FBI director or from the previous attorney general. Information we had looked at this issue. The FBI and the Richmond field office did this memorandum on Catholics, saying if you're a pro-life Catholic, you're somehow an extremist. We got like a handful of documents from Chris Wray, even though we asked for everything.
Should they be doing their job under pressure from the president?
They are doing their job.
So you're saying you're comfortable with that?
They are doing their job.
But you're comfortable with them doing this?
Applying the facts to the law. I'm looking at each individual case, enforcing the law and applying the facts to that. And that's what I think is going on.
I'll add one more application
in the three examples that you raised.
Forgive me. I'll ask one more application to that. Applying the facts, applying the law, fine. How about applying pressure from the White House? You're comfortable with that, given the fact that you were very upset about what you called weaponization so much that you have a whole new subcommittee on it?
The president is speaking his mind, and I think that's entirely appropriate. What I know this Justice Department is doing is the good work that they're supposed to do, looking at the law, looking at the facts, looking at each individual case, and moving forward, I think, in an appropriate fashion.
Let's talk about these
cases. You can't
cases.
argue with, I mean, Jim Comey, by the way, Jim Comey is where it all, so you talk about weaponization, that's where it all started. 9 years ago, Jim Comey's the guy who took the dossier paid for by the other party's campaign,
but that's not what he's being prosecuted for.
Used that. I understand that, but I'm just saying this is, you want to talk about weaponization? It's Jim Comey's where it started. That is totally where it started. He took the dossier, went to the secret court to get a warrant to spy on the other party's campaign.
So this is retribution,
and then they changed the intelligence community assessment after the first.
So you're saying this is retribution against him?
Looking at the facts, looking at the law. No, I'm just saying Jim Comey, this is, you mentioned weaponization. I'm saying that's where it all started. Well, what I'm saying is happening here is they're looking at the facts and they're applying the law to each individual case.
Let me ask about those cases. Are you worried, as an attorney and somebody who understands how these cases work, that what the president's comments are doing is actually undermining the cases when they actually come before a judge and jury?
I mean, we'll see how that all shakes. I'm not worried about that. Again, they're going to prosecute the case. Mr. Comey's presumed innocent. That's one of the great things about our system. And they will present the evidence in the court. And we'll see what happens as they move forward. But I am comfortable with them moving forward. I am comfortable with the indictment because I think when you look at the facts.
And you're comfortable with the president's role as well?
This is warranted.
Just to button that, you're comfortable with the president's role?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with this president. I mean, you talk about, we're celebrating today what's happening in the Middle East. What
of course, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in this issue.
I'm so comfortable with the president. I'm comfortable with the president and how he's handled his entire responsibilities with this issue, with foreign policy, with the border, with tax policy, you name it.